So during this dead spot of the offseason, I wanted to start a new series, kind of go across the Heat roster and talking about the one thing that I'm looking forward to most or want to see from specific players. There's been a lot of Dame talk, obviously, this offseason. We've talked a lot about the young guys like Jovic and Hawkes and which guy you'd rather keep, what guys are in a deal, the Tyler Heroes of the world, the Duncans, the Kyles. But around that time when all this was being discussed, Josh Richardson ended up in Miami. And it feels like it was kind of overlooked in a way just because there was just so much chaos being talked about across the Heat roster. So I want to start with him. And there's different ones you could hit on. The fact that spot up shooting, I think, is going to be crucial for him just because in a role with Dame, without Dame, he's going to need to have a high percentage from three off the catch. And it's something he's done with Miami. It's something he's done really well since being with Miami. He shot around 37, 38% from three across that period of time. So that's going to be important. But the thing I think is more important is what I'm going to show here, and that's kind of pull up twos and pull up mid ranges. And there's different reasons to that. Number one, he loves that shot. It's something he did in Miami. It's something he did after Miami. The last year, the 2018-19 season with Miami, he shot, I think, 45% in that range. The year after he goes to Philly, he shoots 50% in that range. So it's something he's done in both scenarios. It's something he's comfortable with. But also, if we look at a Heat roster, really quickly, let's say potentially if Damian Lillard is in Miami, there's not a lot of mid-range threats on the squad where you're going to need to pick up for things that Tyler, let's say, did, who shot it at a very high volume. I think this past season shot at 42%, but very high volume in the 200s in terms of total. Josh Richardson's like in the 100s, and Josh is shooting it way more volume-wise than Gabe's or Kyle's or Caleb's. So it's something that they're going to look to a lot. So just looking into it a little bit, stuff like this right here, getting into that type of mid-range rate against drop and firing over the top, that's his game. Looking at this Chicago game, I found myself looking at this one because I feel like he did it like 8 times in this game specifically. High pick and roll, bam. Defender goes over the top. He gets that free throw line area, fires over the top. Another one right here. Bams comes a screen. He's going to roll over the top again. He's going to get to his spot. But instead of, he kind of waits a second, actually a pretty nice crossover after he waits for the guy to recover and then gets to his spot again. So it's just something he's very comfortable with. And I think this one you can see right here. Another interesting part of it is like when I bring up Tyler. Tyler's somebody that is very smooth in that range. He's going to pull up and he can fire right over the top of you in that mid range. The difference with Josh, I'd say, is like he kind of shoots it with a little bit of a hitch. And when I say that, I mean like he shoots it on the way down at times. So he can get it off in different spots and it almost looks awkward at times. Like right here when he shoots it on a tough contest, like he almost looks like when he's coming back down, that's when he's kind of releasing that ball. So pick and roll stuff, he's going to see that type of range and get those shots. Will he see the same usage in pick and rolls as he did when he was in Miami before? Absolutely not. Like, and this is not going to be the same role, but I think it's better for him. I think the role is going to be spot up threes and pull up twos. It's just going to be a lot of that he's comfortable with because Miami does that a lot where they'll kind of simplify a role. And that feels like that's it for him. And then I look at this play right here, and this is why I brought up before. I think it's similar to Caleb in a way, just because the way they simplified his role, where they kind of said, take the spot up three. If you don't have it and there's hard closeouts, you can attack that and get to the rim. Instead of getting to the rim, which Richardson also can do, I just think there's going to be spots like this where he's catching, defender flies out, step into a little pull-up two. That's just very simplified, and I just think that it makes it pretty easy for him. And then to finish this one off, instead of showing all 2018-19 film, I could just also wrap up the fact that he's still doing this now. Last season with the Spurs, similar stuff, just kind of off a handoff, getting those spots, firing over the top. He still shot a high percentage last year. Another one right here, just coming off a little bit of a screen. The defender's right there with him. Tough shot over the top of him. That's his game. It's something he likes. It's something he's comfortable with, and it's something that Miami's going to utilize. So as I go across the Heat roster over the next little while, Richardson definitely the on the offensive side of things, that mid-range game is the intriguing part for me. The defense now, that could be a whole other thing because I think that's the one that's going to really be the deciding factor of why he's going to close games. The fact that he's third, I think, among Heat guards and blocks in Heat history, just because his athleticism, staying attached around screens, being able to kind of make those chase down blocks, all of that stuff, that being probably throwing into the mix and press in the 2-2-1 press, playing in zone. There's going to be so many elements to him defensively, but the offensive side is, I think, the intriguing part. So I'm going to be watching those mid-range pull-ups specifically.